cheapest games with the most value you should buy. The Mafia Definitive Trilogy.
You want me to become one of those Wall Street boys? Don't sass me, Tommy.
The Mafia Trilogy is like getting 3 games about gangsters all at once. It's a collection of 3 separate stories, each one about different people involved in organized crime in different time periods. If you like stories about the Mafia, this is a good way to get a lot of them for a decent price. The first game, Mafia Definitive Edition, is a remake of the very first Mafia game. It's been completely redone with better graphics and gameplay, so it looks and plays like a modern game. It tells the story of Tommy Angelo, who starts out as a cab driver but gets pulled into the world of the Salieri crime family during the Prohibition era. It's a classic gangster story about loyalty, betrayal, and the temptations of a life of crime. You'll be doing all sorts of missions like driving, shooting, and even some fist fights. The city is really well designed, and it feels like you're actually in the 1930s. The second game, Mafia 2 Definitive Edition, is a remastered version of the second Mafia game. It's not a complete remake like the first one, but it still looks and plays better than the original. This time you play as Vito Scaletta, who gets involved with the Mafia after returning from World War II. The story takes place in the 1940s and 1950s, and it's about Vito trying to climb the ranks of the criminal underworld. It's another good gangster story with interesting characters and a compelling plot. The third game, Mafia 3 Definitive Edition, is a different kind of Mafia game. It's set in 1968 New Bordeaux, which is a fictional version of New Orleans. You play as Lincoln Clay, a Vietnam War veteran who's out for revenge against the Italian Mafia. This game is open world, which means you can explore the city freely and do missions in any order you want. It has a grittier and more violent tone than the other 2 games, and it explores themes of racism and revenge. It's a different take on the Mafia story, but it's still a good one. So, the Mafia Trilogy gives you 3 distinct games about gangsters. Each game has its own story, characters, and gameplay style. Mafia Definitive Edition is a classic gangster story with a great remake. Mafia 2 Definitive Edition is another solid entry in the series with a compelling narrative. And Mafia 3 Definitive Edition is an open-world game with a grittier tone. If you like gangster stories, open-world games, or just want a lot of game for your money, the Mafia Trilogy is definitely worth checking out. It's a good way to immerse yourself in the world of organized crime and experience 3 different perspectives on the Mafia.
The working man's a sucker, that's for damn sure.
Resident Evil 2. Resident Evil 2 is a truly chilling survival horror game. It offers a fantastic blend of spooky atmosphere, engaging gameplay, and a story that will keep you hooked. What makes it even better is that you get 2 different ways to play, as you can choose to experience the nightmare as either Leon Kennedy or Claire Redfield. Each character has their own story and encounters different challenges, which means playing through the game twice feels fresh and exciting. It's like getting 2 games in one. The game is all about exploring and trying to survive. You'll be wandering through the creepy streets and buildings of Raccoon City, which is overrun by zombies and other nasty creatures. The city is really well designed, and there are lots of details that make it feel real and scary. You'll be going through the police station, which is a classic location from the original game, and you'll also explore other parts of the city that are just as creepy. As you explore, you'll need to find resources like bullets, health items, and clues that will help you figure out what's going on. The fighting is tough. Zombies are slow but relentless, and they can be pretty tough to kill. You have to be smart about how you use your ammo because it's always in short supply. There are other monsters too, and some of them are really terrifying and require different strategies to defeat. It's not just about shooting, you also have to use your environment to your advantage, like pushing things in front of doors to block zombies or using them to climb up to higher areas. The game keeps you on edge because you never know what's lurking around the next corner. The story is really well done. It's not just a simple story about zombies, it's about a conspiracy and a virus that's changing people into monsters. Both Leon and Claire have their own reasons for being in Raccoon City, and their stories intertwine in interesting ways. As you play, you'll uncover clues and learn more about what caused the outbreak and who's responsible. The story is full of twists and turns, and it will keep you guessing until the very end. The characters are also well developed, and you'll actually care about what happens to them. It's a story that will stay with you long after you finish playing. Fallout 76. Fallout 76 is a unique entry in the Fallout series, shifting from a primarily single-player experience to an online, open-world RPG. It's set in post-apocalyptic Appalachia, and it allows you to explore the wasteland with friends or other players you encounter. While it had a rocky start, the game has received numerous updates and expansions, adding content and refining gameplay mechanics. The core of Fallout 76 lies in exploration and survival. The world is vast and filled with interesting locations to discover, from ruined towns and factories to hidden vaults and mysterious caves. You'll scavenge for resources, craft items, build settlements, and complete quests to uncover the secrets of post-war Appalachia. VHCC, the series' iconic targeting system, returns, but it functions differently in a multiplayer environment. Combat can be approached in various ways, from ranged gunfights to melee combat, and you'll encounter a variety of mutated creatures and hostile factions.
Fighting back.
A major difference from previous Fallout games is the online multiplayer aspect. You can team up with friends to tackle quests, explore the wasteland, and build settlements together. While playing solo is possible, the game is designed with cooperative play in mind. There are also public events that occur throughout the world, encouraging players to team up and complete objectives for rewards. The story of Fallout 76 unfolds through quests, environmental storytelling, and interactions with NPCs. While the initial release lacked human NPCs, they have since been added, enriching the world and providing more traditional quest lines. The narrative focuses on the aftermath of the nuclear war and the efforts of the survivors to rebuild and reclaim their lives. It's a different kind of Fallout story, emphasizing player agency and community building in a post-apocalyptic setting. Watch Dogs 2. Here you get to be a super smart hacker in San Francisco. You play as Marcus Holloway, a young guy who's really good with computers. He joins a group of hackers called DedSec, and they're trying to take down a big, powerful system called CTOS 2.0. This system is supposed to make the city better, but it's actually being used to spy on people and control them. So Marcus and DedSec are fighting for freedom and trying to show everyone how dangerous this system is. The game is all about hacking and using your skills to your advantage. You can hack into almost anything in the city. You can hack phones to get information. You can hack cars to make them crash. You can even hack traffic lights to cause chaos. It's really cool to see how many things you can control with your hacking abilities. You can use these skills to solve puzzles, sneak into places you're not supposed to be, and cause all sorts of trouble for the bad guys. Want to empty someone's bank account? You can do that. Want to make all the traffic lights turn green at the same time? You can do that too. The game gives you a lot of options for how you want to approach different situations. But Watch Dogs 2 isn't just about hacking. There's also a lot of action. You'll be going on missions that involve sneaking around, fighting enemies, and driving fast cars. You can sneak into enemy bases and use your hacking skills to distract guards or turn off security cameras. If you get caught, you can use weapons to defend yourself. The game lets you choose how you want to complete missions. You can be stealthy and try to avoid fighting altogether, or you can go in guns blazing. It's up to you. The story is a big part of the game. It's about Marcus and DedSec fighting against a powerful corporation that's using CTOS 2.0 for their own gain. The story is interesting and it makes you think about real-world issues like privacy and surveillance. The characters are also really well developed. Marcus and the other members of DedSec are all unique and have their own personalities. They joke around with each other and they really feel like a team. The story is exciting and it will keep you guessing what's gonna happen next. The city of San Francisco is a great setting for the game. It's a big, vibrant city with lots of different neighborhoods to explore. You can drive around, walk around, and find all sorts of interesting things to see and do. There are side missions you can complete, collectibles you can find, and even online activities you can participate in with other players. The city feels alive and it's fun to just explore and see what you can find. Far Cry 5. Far Cry 5 drops you into Hope County, Montana, which at first glance seems like a peaceful rural community. However, it's been taken over by a dangerous doomsday cult called Eden's Gate, led by the charismatic but ruthless Joseph Seed. You play as a junior deputy sheriff who gets caught up in the resistance against the cult, and your goal is to liberate Hope County from their control. The game is an open-world action-adventure, meaning you have a lot of freedom in how you approach the game. You can explore the vast landscape of Hope County, complete missions in any order you like, and choose your own playstyle. Want to go in guns blazing? You can do that. Prefer a stealthy approach? That's an option too. You can even recruit allies to fight alongside you, each with their own unique skills and abilities. The gameplay is a mix of shooting, driving, exploration, and interacting with the world. The gunplay is satisfying with a wide variety of weapons to choose from, and the driving mechanics are fun and allow for some crazy stunts and chases. Exploring Hope County is a joy, with lots of interesting locations to discover, from small towns and farms to remote cabins and hidden bunkers. You'll encounter all sorts of characters, both friendly and hostile, and you can engage in various activities like hunting, fishing, and even flying. The story is a major focus. It's a gripping narrative that explores themes of religious extremism, fanaticism, and the power of belief. Joseph Seed is a compelling villain, and the game delves into his motivations and the twisted ideology of his cult. The characters you meet along the way are memorable and well developed, and their stories add depth to the world. The choices you make can also have an impact on the story, leading to different outcomes and endings. Far Cry 5 is a game that offers a lot of freedom and replayability. It's a fun and engaging experience with a compelling story, satisfying gameplay, and a beautiful open world to explore. Whether you're a fan of action games, open world games, or just looking for a good story, Far Cry 5 is definitely worth checking out. It's a wild ride through a fascinating and dangerous world. Mass Effect Legendary Edition. The Mass Effect Legendary Edition is like getting 3 huge space adventures all in one package. It's a collection of all 3 games in the original Mass Effect series, which is a really popular set of games about saving the galaxy. If you like science fiction, cool characters, and making big decisions that affect the story, this collection is definitely worth checking out. You play as Commander Shepard, and your job is to stop a race of machines called the Reapers from destroying all life in the galaxy. It's a huge, epic story that spans across all 3 games. Your choices in one game will actually change things that happen in the later games, so it feels like your decisions really matter. It's not just about shooting aliens, it's about building relationships with your crew and deciding what kind of leader you want to be. The games are a mix of shooting aliens, exploring different planets, and talking to people. The shooting is fun and strategic. You have a squad of teammates with you, and you have to use their special abilities to your advantage. Some teammates are good at fighting, others are good at using special powers, and you have to work together to win battles. Exploring is also a big part of the game. You can travel to different planets, talk to people, and find hidden things. Each planet is different and has its own story, so it's fun to explore and learn more about the universe. One of the best things about Mass Effect is the characters. You'll meet a lot of interesting people on your journey, and you can build relationships with them. Some of them will become your close friends, and you can even have romantic relationships with some of them. These characters are really well written, and they feel like real people. Your choices and conversations and throughout the game can affect these relationships, which makes them feel even more meaningful. The Legendary Edition makes the original games even better. They've updated the graphics so they look nicer, and they've made some changes to the gameplay to make it smoother and more fun. It's the best way to experience the Mass Effect trilogy, whether you've played the games before or you're new to the series. It's a huge amount of content with dozens of hours of gameplay across all 3 games. It's a great value for the price, and it's a fantastic way to immerse yourself in a rich and exciting science fiction universe. If you're looking for a game that will keep you entertained for a long time and make you think about big questions about life, the universe, and everything, the Mass Effect Legendary Edition is definitely worth considering. Monster Hunter World. In Monster Hunter World is you get to hunt giant, amazing monsters. It's like being a hunter in a world full of incredible creatures, and your job is to track them down and either capture them or defeat them in battle. It's a mix of exploring a beautiful world and having really exciting fights. The game is all about hunting. You pick a quest, which usually means you have to hunt a specific monster. Then you go out into the world, which is huge and full of different environments. You'll follow tracks, look for clues, and try to find the monster you're hunting. When you finally find it, the real fun starts. The fights are challenging and require skill. Each monster is different and has its own attacks and weaknesses. You have to learn how they move, what they can do, and how to avoid their attacks. You get to use all sorts of different weapons. There are big swords, hammers, spears, bows and arrows, and even guns. Each weapon is different and has its own special moves. Some weapons are better for fighting certain types of monsters, so you have to choose wisely. It takes practice to get good with each weapon, but it's really satisfying when you finally master one. The world in Monster Hunter World is really amazing. It's full of forests, deserts, jungles, and even volcanic areas. Each place is different and has its own plants, animals, and monsters. It's fun to just explore and see what you can find. You can gather resources like plants and minerals, and you can use them to make new weapons, armor, and other useful things. There are always new things to discover, and the world feels like it's really alive. One of the best parts of the game is getting better at hunting. As you hunt more monsters, you'll get stronger, and you'll be able to make better equipment. This lets you hunt even bigger and tougher monsters. It's a great feeling to finally beat a monster that's been giving you a hard time. It takes time and effort, but it's really rewarding. Monster Hunter World is also a great game to play with friends. You can team up with up to 3 other players and go on hunts together. Working together to take down a monster is really exciting. You can plan your attacks, use your different weapons together, and help each other out. It's a fun and social experience, and it makes the game even more enjoyable. There's so much to do in Monster Hunter World. There are tons of monsters to hunt, weapons to craft, and quests to complete. You can easily spend hundreds of hours playing this game, and there's always something new to do. It's a deep and rewarding game that's perfect for anyone who loves action games, exploring, and the thrill of the hunt. It's a game that will challenge you, but it's also a game that will leave you feeling really satisfied when you finally succeed. Just Cause 3. Just Cause 3 is an open-world action game where you play as Rico Rodriguez, a guy who's really good at blowing things up. He returns to his homeland of Medici, a Mediterranean island nation which is under the control of a brutal dictator, General Di Ravello. Your goal is to liberate Medici from Di Ravello's oppressive rule, and you do this by causing as much chaos as possible. The game is all about over-the-top action and physics-based mayhem. You have a wingsuit, a parachute, and a grappling hook which allows you to travel around the island in style and perform some incredible stunts. You can use your grappling hook to tether objects together, creating all sorts of crazy combinations and causing massive explosions. Want to attach a rocket to a statue and launch it into a building? You can do that. Want to tether a car to a helicopter and drop it on a tank? You can do that too. The game encourages creativity and experimentation, and it's a lot of fun to see what crazy things you can come up with. The island of Medici is huge and beautiful. It's full of small towns, military bases, and all sorts of interesting locations to explore. You can drive cars, fly planes, pilot boats, and even ride on the backs of cows for some reason. There are also lots of challenges and collectibles to find, which adds to the replayability. The story is pretty straightforward. It's not Shakespeare, but it serves its purpose. It's mostly about Rico and his allies fighting against Di Ravello and his forces. The characters are a bit stereotypical, but they're fun and likable. The focus is definitely more on the gameplay and the explosions than on the story. Just Cause 3 is a game that doesn't take itself too seriously. It's all about having fun and causing as much destruction as possible. It's a great game to play when you just want to relax and blow off some steam. It's not a deep or meaningful game, but it's incredibly entertaining. So if you're looking for a game where you can unleash your inner pyromaniac and cause some glorious chaos, Just Cause 3 is definitely worth checking out. It's a fun and addictive game that will keep you entertained for hours. Just don't expect a deep and thought-provoking story. It's all about the explosions. The Thumper. Thumper is a rhythm game, but it's not like any rhythm game you've probably played before. It's more than just tapping buttons to the music. It's a wild, trippy ride that combines fast-paced gameplay with visuals that are both beautiful and kind of intense. Imagine racing down a track at high speed, and everything you see and hear is perfectly synced to the music. That's Thumper. You control a little space beetle that's zooming along this single track. Your goal is to hit the notes, which are like obstacles or turns in the track, at exactly the right moment. It sounds simple, but it gets really challenging very quickly. As you play, the music gets more complex, the visuals become more abstract and flashy, and the track throws more and more difficult things at you. It's a game that tests your reflexes and your sense of rhythm. Thumper isn't just about hitting the notes, it's about getting completely absorbed in the experience. The music and visuals work together perfectly to create a kind of trance-like state. It's easy to lose track of time and just get lost in the game. It's almost like a form of meditation, but a really intense and exciting kind of meditation. The game really engages all your senses. The way Thumper looks is really unique. It's all abstract shapes, bright colors, and flashing lights. It's not realistic at all, but it's incredibly stylish and visually stunning. The visuals are constantly changing and evolving as you play, and they're always reacting to the music. It's like watching a light show that's perfectly choreographed to the beat. It's a visual feast. But this game can be pretty tough. It's a game that will challenge you and push you to improve, but it's also really rewarding when you finally get a perfect run or beat a particularly difficult level. It takes practice and patience, but the sense of accomplishment you get when you succeed is definitely worth it. The game is designed to be challenging, but it's also designed to be fair. If you keep practicing, you'll eventually get better and better. Thumper is a game that's hard to describe. It's something you have to experience for yourself. It's a unique and unforgettable rhythm game that will stay with you long after you've finished playing. If you're looking for a rhythm game that's different from anything you've ever played before, Thumper is definitely worth checking out. It's a game that will test your skills, mesmerize your senses, and leave you wanting more. It's a truly special and memorable gaming experience. Dorfromantik. Dorfromantik is a relaxing and charming city-building puzzle game. It's less about managing resources and micromanaging complex systems, and more about creating beautiful, picturesque landscapes. Think of it as a digital version of building with Legos, but instead of bricks, you're placing tiles to create a world. The core gameplay loop is simple but addictive. You're given a stack of hexagonal tiles, each featuring different landscape elements like trees, houses, rivers, and fields. Your goal is to place these tiles strategically to create a harmonious and aesthetically pleasing world. Connecting matching edges earns you points, and completing certain quests, like creating a village with a specific number of houses or a river of a certain length, rewards you with even more tiles. There's no pressure or time limit in Dorfromantik. You can play at your own pace, experimenting with different tile placements and enjoying the process of creating your own little world. It's a very zen-like experience, perfect for unwinding after a long day. The game's visuals are simple but charming, with a clean and colorful art style that adds to the relaxing atmosphere. The music is equally soothing, further contributing to the game's tranquil feel. As you play, you'll unlock new tiles and challenges, giving you more options for creating your landscapes. You can focus on creating sprawling villages, connecting vast rivers, or building intricate train networks. The game encourages creativity and experimentation, and there's no right or wrong way to play. It's all about creating something that you find beautiful and satisfying. Dorfromantik is a game that appeals to a wide audience. It's perfect for casual gamers who are looking for a relaxing and enjoyable experience, as well as for puzzle fans who enjoy the challenge of strategically placing tiles. It's a game that can be enjoyed in short bursts or for longer sessions, and it's always a pleasant and calming experience. If you're looking for a game that's both relaxing and engaging, Dorfromantik is definitely worth checking out. It's a digital escape to a world of your own creation. Devil May Cry 5. Devil May Cry 5 is a game where you get to fight demons in the most stylish way possible. It's a fast-paced action game where you control 3 different characters, each with their own unique ways of fighting. It's like having 3 different action heroes in one game, and you get to switch between them whenever you want. This makes the game really exciting and keeps things fresh. The main focus of Devil May Cry 5 is the combat. It's not just about hitting buttons, it's about learning how to combine different moves into cool combos and using your special abilities at the right time. Each character has their own set of weapons and skills. Dante is a master of all sorts of weapons, from swords and guns to even crazier things. Nero has a special robotic arm that he can use for powerful attacks, and he can even upgrade it with different abilities. And then there's V, who's a bit different. He doesn't fight directly, he controls demons to fight for him. It's like being a puppeteer and you have to strategize how to use your demons effectively. The game isn't just about smashing buttons, it's about learning the different moves and how to use them together to create stylish and effective combos. The better you fight, the higher your style ranking gets, which makes you feel like a total badass. There's a real sense of accomplishment when you finally master a character's moves and can pull off some amazing combos. It's a challenging game, but it's also incredibly rewarding when you get good at it. The story in Devil May Cry 5 is kind of wild and over the top, but it's also really entertaining. It's full of demons, angels, and lots of dramatic moments. The characters are larger than life and have really distinct personalities. They're always cracking jokes and making fun of each other, which adds to the fun. The story might not be the most serious or thought-provoking, but it's a fun and exciting ride that perfectly matches the action. The game looks absolutely amazing, the characters are incredibly detailed, the environments are beautiful and varied, and the special effects are spectacular. Everything moves smoothly and the game looks great, even when there's a lot happening on screen. It's a visually stunning game that really brings the action to life. Devil May Cry 5 is a must-play for anyone who loves action games. It's got everything you could want: fast-paced combat, stylish visuals, memorable characters, and a fun story. It's a challenging game that will test your skills, but it's also incredibly rewarding. If you're looking for a game that will make you feel like a demon-slaying superstar, Devil May Cry 5 is definitely worth checking out. It's an exhilarating and stylish experience that you won't soon forget. It's a game that's all about looking cool while kicking demon butt, and it does it incredibly well. The Walking Dead: The Telltale Definitive Series Collection. The Walking Dead: The Telltale Definitive Series is like a giant collection of interactive stories set in the world of The Walking Dead. It's not just one game, but all 4 seasons of The Walking Dead games plus some extra content. The Walking Dead: The Telltale Definitive Series is a fantastic collection for anyone who enjoys story-driven games with tough choices and emotional moments. It bundles together all 4 seasons of The Walking Dead game, as well as the 400 Days DLC, giving you the complete saga of Clementine's journey in a zombie-infested world. It's a massive amount of content offering dozens of hours of gameplay in a truly memorable narrative experience. These games aren't about shooting tons of zombies, they're more about the story and the characters. You play as different people trying to survive in a world overrun by zombies, and your choices really matter. You'll have to make tough decisions that affect who lives, who dies, and how the story unfolds. It's not always easy, and the game will often put you in difficult situations where there's no right or wrong answer. It's a game that will make you think about what you would do in those circumstances. The gameplay is mostly about talking to people, exploring different areas, and reacting to what's happening. You'll have conversations with other survivors, and what you say can change how they feel about you and how the story progresses. You'll also explore different environments, looking for clues, supplies, and other things that might help you survive. There are some action parts too where you have to react quickly to what's happening on screen, but the focus is definitely on the story and the characters. The characters are what make the Walking Dead games so special. You'll meet a lot of different people and you'll form strong bonds with some of them. The main character in most of the games is Clementine, and you'll get to see her grow up and become a strong survivor. She's a really well-written character, and you'll really care about what happens to her. The other characters are also really well-developed, and their stories are just as compelling. It's like watching a group of people struggle to survive in a really dangerous world, and you get to be a part of their journey. The world of The Walking Dead is really bleak and depressing, but it's also full of moments of hope and humanity. The games do a great job of capturing the atmosphere of the comics and the TV show. The graphics are a bit stylized, but they work really well for the story. The music and sound effects are also really good, and they add to the tension and the emotional impact of the game. The Walking Dead: The Telltale Definitive Series is a must-play for anyone who loves story-driven games. It's a powerful and emotional experience that will stay with you long after you finish playing. It's a game that will make you laugh, cry, and everything in between. If you're looking for a game that will immerse you in a compelling story and make you care about its characters, this collection is definitely worth checking out. It's a complete and unforgettable journey through a zombie-infested world, and it's a great way to experience the full story of The Walking Dead. It's like reading a really good book or watching a really good TV show, but you get to be a part of the story.
You don't understand. I'm trying to protect you!
Mad Max. In Mad Max, you get to drive around a huge, post-apocalyptic wasteland and cause all sorts of mayhem. You play as Max Rukotansky, a tough guy who's lost everything and is out for revenge. The world is a dangerous place, full of crazy raiders and other nasty people, and you have to fight to survive. It's a game about driving cool cars, getting into intense fights, and exploring a desolate but interesting world. The game is mostly about driving and fighting. The driving is a lot of fun. You get to customize and upgrade your car, the Magnum Opus, and turn it into a powerful machine. You can ram other cars, use a harpoon to rip off their armor, and even shoot at the drivers. It's really exciting to be chased by a bunch of raiders and try to outmaneuver them. The car chases are fast and furious, and they're a big part of what makes the game so fun. Fighting is also important. Max is a skilled fighter, and you'll be getting into a lot of brawls, both on foot and while you're in your car. The fighting is pretty brutal and involves a lot of punches, kicks, and using whatever you can find as a weapon. You can also learn new fighting moves as you play, which makes you even more effective in combat. It's not just about hitting buttons. You have to time your attacks and use your environment to your advantage. The world in Mad Max is huge, and there's a lot to explore. It's a wasteland, so it's mostly deserts and ruined buildings, but there are also some interesting places to discover. You can scavenge for resources, complete missions for other survivors, and build up your own stronghold. There are also lots of challenges to complete, like racing other cars or taking down enemy camps. There's always something to do, and the world feels dangerous and unpredictable. The story is pretty simple. Max is out for revenge against a warlord who took everything from him. He's a man of few words, but his actions speak for themselves. The story is more about the journey and the challenges you face along the way than it is about complex characters or plot twists. It's a classic revenge story set in a post-apocalyptic world, and it fits the tone of the game perfectly. Mad Max is a game that gives you a lot of freedom. You can explore the wasteland at your own pace, complete missions in any order you want, and choose how you want to play. Whether you like high-speed chases and explosive combat or a more stealthy approach, the game gives you the tools to do it your way. It's a fun and addictive game that will keep you entertained for hours. If you're a fan of post-apocalyptic games, driving games, or just want to cause some glorious mayhem, Mad Max is definitely worth checking out. It's a wild ride through a brutal and unforgiving world, and it's a great way to let off some steam. It's not a game that will make you think too hard, but it's a game that will definitely get your adrenaline pumping. Left 4 Dead 2. Left 4 Dead 2 is a classic cooperative zombie shooter. It's a game designed from the ground up to be played with friends, or AI teammates if you prefer. It's all about teamwork, communication, and surviving hordes of infected, known as the Infected. It's a fast-paced, intense, and often hilarious experience that's still incredibly fun to play today. The core gameplay is straightforward. You and your team of up to 4 survivors must fight your way through various campaigns, making your way from safe house to safe house. Along the way, you'll face waves of common infected as well as special infected, each with their own unique and deadly abilities. The tank is a hulking brute that can smash through walls and toss survivors around like ragdolls. The hunter can pounce on unsuspecting players, pinning them down. The witch is a terrifying creature that can instantly incapacitate a survivor if startled, and that's just a few of them. The game features a variety of weapons, from pistols and shotguns to melee weapons like axes and chainsaws. Each weapon has its own strengths and weaknesses, and choosing the right weapon for the situation is important. You'll also find various items that can help you survive, such as medkits, pain pills, and adrenaline shots. Left 4 Dead 2 offers a variety of game modes, including the classic campaign mode, versus mode where players can control the special infected, and survival mode where you try to last as long as possible against endless waves of infected. There's also a robust modding community which has created countless custom campaigns, weapons, and other content, adding even more replayability to the game. Left 4 Dead 2 is a classic for a reason. It's a simple but incredibly addictive game that's perfect for playing with friends. The fast-paced action, challenging gameplay, and dynamic AI make for a thrilling and often hilarious experience. Even years after its release, it remains one of the best cooperative zombie shooters ever made. Superhot. Superhot is a really unique kind of shooting game. It's not just about running around and shooting everything that moves. It's about thinking carefully and planning your every move. The coolest thing about Superhot is that time only moves when you move. So if you're standing still, time almost freezes and you can look around and figure out what to do next. This turns the game into a sort of puzzle where you have to figure out the best way to take out all the enemies without getting shot. Imagine being in a room full of bad guys trying to kill you, but you can slow down time to a crawl just by standing still. You can see the bullets flying towards you and you have time to dodge them, plan your shots, and take out the enemies one by one. It's like being a superhero with super fast reflexes, but it's all about strategy and planning. You can even grab weapons out of the air, punch enemies in slow motion, and do all sorts of cool, stylish moves. The game is really simple to learn, but it's surprisingly challenging to master. At first, you might just be trying to survive, but as you get better, you'll start to think about how to be more efficient and stylish. You'll be dodging bullets like a pro, lining up perfect headshots and making the most of every second. It's not just about shooting, it's about moving, thinking, and reacting in a way that makes you feel like a total badass. The way Superhot looks is also really distinctive. Everything is very simple and geometric. The world is mostly white, the enemies are red, and the weapons are black. This minimalistic style makes it easy to focus on the action and the strategy. There aren't a lot of distractions, so you can really concentrate on what you're doing. It's a really clean and stylish look that perfectly complements the gameplay. Superhot is a game that's both challenging and incredibly rewarding. It's not easy, but it's also not unfair. It takes patience, practice, and a bit of creativity to really get good at it. You'll have to experiment with different strategies and find what works best for you. The game encourages you to be creative and come up with your own cool ways to take out the enemies. It's a really satisfying feeling when you finally clear a level that's been giving you trouble. Superhot is a really unique and innovative game that's unlike anything else you've probably played. It's a fresh take on the first-person shooter genre, and it's a game that will keep you coming back for more. If you're looking for a game that's both challenging and stylish, Superhot is definitely worth checking out. It's a game that will make you think differently about how you play shooters, and it's a truly memorable experience. It's a game that will make you feel like you have superpowers, even though it's all about clever planning and precise execution. Dishonored Definitive Edition. Dishonored Definitive Edition is a fantastic package that includes the original Dishonored game along with all of its DLC. It's a first-person action stealth game with a unique art style and a focus on player choice. You play as Corvo Atano, a former bodyguard framed for the Empress's murder. Seeking revenge and to clear his name, Corvo becomes an assassin wielding supernatural abilities and a variety of gadgets to eliminate his targets. The gameplay is a blend of stealth, action, and supernatural powers. You have a wide range of options for how you approach each mission. Want to sneak past guards undetected? You can do that. Prefer to go in guns blazing? That's an option too. You can even combine your powers and gadgets to create your own unique playstyle. For example, you could use Blink, a teleportation power, to quickly move behind an enemy, then use Wind Blast to knock them off a lid. The possibilities are numerous and the game encourages experimentation. The world of Dishonored is a beautifully realized steampunk city called Dunwall. It's a dark and atmospheric place filled with corruption, intrigue, and supernatural elements. The city is intricately designed with multiple pathways and hidden areas to discover. Exploring Dunwall is a reward in itself as you'll uncover secrets, learn more about the lore, and find valuable resources. The story is a revenge tale with political intrigue and supernatural elements. Corvo's journey is one of redemption and justice as he seeks to expose the conspiracy behind the Empress's murder and restore order to Dunwall. The characters are well developed and their motivations are often complex. The choices you make throughout the game have consequences affecting the story and the world around you. There's a chaos system that tracks your actions, and a high chaos playthrough will have a very different feel than a low chaos playthrough. The Definitive Edition includes all the DLC, which adds even more content to the game. These expansions introduce new characters, storylines, and challenges, further enriching the Dishonored experience. It's a complete and compelling package for anyone who enjoys stealth games, action games, or games with a strong narrative. It's a game that offers a lot of replayability, as you can experiment with different playstyles and make different choices to see how they impact the story. It's a truly memorable and immersive experience. Metro Redux Bundle. The Metro Redux Bundle is a fantastic deal for fans of atmospheric, story-driven shooters. It includes remastered versions of both Metro 3033 and Metro Last Light, the first two games in the Metro series. These aren't just simple graphical updates, they feature improved gameplay mechanics, enhanced visuals, and other refinements that make them the definitive way to experience these post-apocalyptic adventures. Essentially, you get two complete, high-quality games for the price of often one, making it a great value proposition. The Metro games are known for their immersive atmosphere, tense survival survival horror gameplay, and compelling narratives. They're set in the post-apocalyptic world of Moscow after a nuclear war. The survivors have retreated into the underground metro system, creating a fragile and dangerous society. You play as Artyom, a survivor who gets caught up in a struggle for survival against both human factions and the mutated creatures that roam the tunnels and the surface world. The gameplay is a blend of first-person shooting, stealth, and survival horror. Ammo and resources are scarce, forcing you to be strategic in your approach to combat. You'll often have to rely on stealth to avoid or sneak past enemies, and the game does a great job of creating a sense of tension and dread. The atmosphere is thick with fear, and you'll never feel truly safe as you explore the dark and claustrophobic tunnels of the metro. The story is a major highlight. It's a dark and emotional tale that explores themes of survival, humanity, and the consequences of war. The characters are well developed, and you'll become invested in their struggles as you progress through the games. The narrative is gripping and keeps you on the edge of your seat as you uncover the mysteries of the metro and the world outside. The Redux versions of the games feature improved graphics, making the already atmospheric environments even more immersive. The gameplay has also been refined with smoother controls and some tweaks to the combat mechanics. These changes make the games feel more modern and enjoyable to play. So the Metro Redux bundle is an excellent value. You get 2 fantastic games with compelling stories, tense gameplay, and a truly immersive atmosphere. It's a must-have for fans of post-apocalyptic games, survival horror games, or anyone who enjoys a good story-driven shooter. It's a chilling and unforgettable journey into the depths of the Moscow metro. Batman Arkham Collection. The Batman Arkham Collection is like getting 3 amazing Batman games all in one package. It's perfect for anyone who loves superhero games or just wants a great action-adventure experience. You get to play as Batman in 3 separate stories, each one with its own unique feel and challenges. It's a fantastic way to dive into the world of the Dark Knight and experience some of the best superhero games ever created. First up is Batman Arkham Asylum. Imagine being trapped in a creepy, insane asylum and all of Batman's worst enemies are running loose. That's Arkham Asylum. It's a more focused and claustrophobic experience than the other games, and it really emphasizes Batman's detective skills. You'll be exploring the asylum, solving puzzles, and trying to figure out what the Joker is up to. The combat is really smooth and satisfying. It's all about timing your attacks and using Batman's gadgets to take down groups of enemies. It's like a well-choreographed dance of punches, kicks, and counters. Next, you have Batman Arkham City. This game takes place in a huge section of Gotham City that's been turned into a massive prison. It's a much bigger and more open world than Arkham Asylum, and you have a lot more freedom to explore. You can glide across the rooftops, use your grappling hook to swing from building to building, and discover all sorts of hidden secrets. The combat is even more refined than in Arkham Asylum, with new moves and gadgets to learn. You'll be facing all sorts of iconic Batman villains, and each one has their own unique challenges. It's a sprawling adventure that really makes you feel like you're Batman patrolling the streets of Gotham and fighting crime. Finally, there's Batman Arkham Knight. This game brings the story to a dramatic conclusion, and it introduces the Batmobile. You can drive the Batmobile around Gotham City, using it to chase down enemies, solve puzzles, and even transform it into a tank for intense combat. The city is even bigger and more detailed than in Arkham City, and it's full of things to do. The story is epic and emotional, and it explores some of the darker aspects of Batman's character. It's a thrilling and action-packed finale to the Arkham Trilogy. The Batman Arkham Collection is a great value. You get 3 complete games, each offering a unique and compelling Batman experience. Whether you're a longtime fan of The Dark Knight or just looking for some great superhero action, this collection is definitely worth checking out. It's a chance to step into the boots of Batman and experience what it's like to be the world's greatest detective. It's a journey through the dark and dangerous world of Gotham City, and it's an adventure you won't soon forget. Hitman World of Assassinations. The Hitman World of Assassination Trilogy is a remarkable package, offering exceptional value for stealth game enthusiasts. It brings together Hitman 2016, Hitman 2, and Hitman 3, creating a cohesive experience with a vast amount of content and unparalleled replayability. It's a collection that emphasizes player freedom, creative problem solving, and the thrill of executing the perfect assassination. This trilogy represents an incredible value proposition, essentially giving you 3 full games and all their DLC for a price that's often less than 2 new releases. The core gameplay revolves around eliminating targets in intricately designed sandbox-like environments. You embody Agent 47, a genetically engineered assassin known for his precision and professionalism. Each mission presents you with 1 or more targets and a location teeming with opportunities. The game provides almost complete freedom in how you approach the assassination. Fancy sneaking in disguised as a chef to poison your target's meal? You can do it. Prefer orchestrating a freak accident to make it look like they fell from a balcony? That's also an option. Perhaps you'd rather go loud and unleash a hail of gunfire, though this is rarely the most efficient or elegant approach. The choice is yours. The Hitman games excel at crafting believable and dynamic environments. Each location, from a bustling fashion show in Paris to a sun-drenched coastal town in Sapienza, is meticulously crafted and brimming with detail. You can eavesdrop on conversations to gather intel, steal disguises to blend in, manipulate the environment to create distractions, and utilize a wide array of tools and gadgets to your advantage. The game actively encourages exploration and experimentation, rewarding players who invest time in learning the intricacies of each level. Discovering the numerous pathways, hidden items, and creative solutions is a major part of the fun. The replayability of the Hitman World of Assassination Trilogy is truly astounding. Each mission can be tackled in countless ways, and the game encourages you to try different strategies, experiment with various disguises, and explore diverse tactics. You can complete challenges to unlock new gear and starting locations, and even create your own contracts, defining specific targets and conditions for other players to attempt. This feature alone adds countless hours of gameplay. It's a collection that you can easily sink hundreds of hours into, and you'll likely still uncover new possibilities. The Hitman World of Assassination Trilogy offers exceptional value. You're getting 3 full games, each packed with content and replayability for a price that's often less than a single new release. This, combined with the depth of gameplay and the freedom it affords, makes it a must-have for fans of stealth games. Alien Isolation Collection. The Alien Isolation Collection is a must-have for any horror fan, especially those who appreciate a good dose of suspense and terror. It includes the base game Alien Isolation along with all the DLC, providing a complete and terrifying experience in the Alien universe. Alien Isolation is a survival horror masterpiece that perfectly captures the chilling atmosphere of the Alien franchise. You play as Amanda Ripley, Ellen Ripley's daughter, who's searching for answers about her mother's disappearance. Her quest leads her to the Sevastopol space station, a decaying and isolated facility where something has gone horribly wrong. The station is home to a terrifying creature, a xenomorph, and it's hunting you. What sets Alien Isolation apart is its relentless and intelligent AI for the xenomorph. It's not just a mindless enemy that follows a set pattern. The alien adapts to your tactics, learns from your mistakes, and can appear at any moment, creating a constant sense of dread. You'll need to use stealth, distraction, and your wits to survive. Hiding in lockers, crawling through vents, and using your motion tracker to anticipate the alien's movements are crucial to your survival. The game isn't just about running and hiding though. You'll also need to craft and use various tools and weapons to defend yourself. Flamethrowers, stun batons, and even your trusty revolver can be used to deter the alien, but it's rarely a guaranteed escape. The game emphasizes resource management, making every bullet and every crafted item feel precious. The Sevastopol station itself is a character in the game. It's a beautifully designed and atmospheric environment filled with details that bring the world to life. From the flickering lights and dripping pipes to the panicked messages left by the station's former inhabitants, everything contributes to the sense of isolation and dread. Exploring the station is a tense and rewarding experience as you uncover clues about what happened and try to stay one step ahead of the alien. Doom franchise. This bundle represents a significant saving compared to buying each game individually, making it a great way to dive headfirst into the iconic Doom universe. What you get in a Doom franchise bundle can vary slightly depending on the specific bundle, but generally it includes a selection of the classic Doom games, often including Doom 1993, Doom 2, Doom 3, and then jumps to the modern era with Doom 2016 and Doom Eternal. Sometimes it might even include Doom 64 or other spin-offs. It's a comprehensive collection that lets you experience the evolution of the Doom franchise from its pixelated origins to its modern, graphically stunning incarnations. The core gameplay across all Doom titles is all about fast, frenetic action. You're the Doomslayer, a one-person army against the forces of hell. It's a relentless onslaught of demons, and your job is to rip and tear your way through them with a vast arsenal of weapons. From the classic super shotgun to the devastating BFG 9000, Doom games offer a satisfying array of tools for demonic destruction. The older Doom games are more straightforward in their design, focusing on pure, unadulterated action. They're known for their iconic level design, challenging gameplay, and heavy metal soundtracks. They're a nostalgic trip for longtime fans and a great way to experience the roots of the first-person shooter genre. The newer Doom games, Doom 2016 and Doom Eternal, take the classic Doom formula and modernize it. They feature enhanced graphics, more complex level design, and a greater emphasis on movement and aggression. Push-forward combat is the mantra, encouraging players to be constantly on the offensive, glory-killing demons for health and ammo, and using their mobility to outmaneuver the hordes of hell. These newer entries also introduce more lore and backstory, expanding on the Doom universe. What makes the Doom franchise bundle such a good value is the sheer volume of content. You're getting multiple games, each with its own campaign, and often with additional modes like multiplayer or Snap Map, a level editor. It's a collection that can keep you entertained for a long time, whether you're a seasoned Doom veteran or a newcomer looking to experience the thrill of demon slaying. It's a great way to own a significant chunk of the Doom legacy and experience the evolution of one of gaming's most iconic franchises. BioShock The Collection. The BioShock The Collection is a treasure trove for fans of immersive, story-driven first-person shooters. It bundles together all three games in the acclaimed BioShock series: BioShock, BioShock 2, and BioShock Infinite. The BioShock games are renowned for their unique settings, compelling narratives, and innovative gameplay mechanics. Each game takes you to a different and memorable location. BioShock plunges you into the underwater city of Rapture, a failed utopia built on objectivist principles. BioShock 2 returns to Rapture, but this time you play as a Big Daddy, offering a different perspective on the city's downfall. BioShock Infinite lifts you to the skies, introducing the breathtakingly beautiful but ultimately flawed floating city of Columbia. These settings are not just backdrops, they're integral to the stories, and exploring them is a key part of the experience. The gameplay blends first-person shooting with unique abilities called plasmids in BioShock and BioShock 2, or vigors in BioShock Infinite. These powers allow you to manipulate the environment, enhance your combat skills, and use a variety of creative tactics. You can electrify water, set enemies on fire, telekinetically throw objects, and even control swarms of bees. Combining these powers with your weapons creates a dynamic and engaging combat system. The games also feature a crafting system that allows you to upgrade your weapons and create useful items. The stories in the BioShock games are complex and thought-provoking, exploring themes of philosophy, politics, and the nature of humanity. They're filled with memorable characters, shocking twists, and moments that will leave you pondering long after you've finished playing. The narratives are masterfully crafted, and they're a major reason why the BioShock series is so beloved. The BioShock The Collection remasters the original games with improved graphics and textures, making them look better than ever. It's the definitive way to experience these classic games, whether you're a longtime fan or a newcomer to the series. It's a collection that offers a huge amount of content, compelling stories, and unforgettable gameplay experiences. If you're looking for a game that will challenge your mind and captivate your imagination, the BioShock The Collection is definitely worth checking out. It's a journey into some of the most imaginative and thought-provoking worlds ever created in a video game. The Witcher Trilogy. The Witcher Trilogy is like getting 3 huge adventure games all at once. It's a collection of all 3 Witcher games, which are really popular role-playing games where you fight monsters and make important choices that change the story. If you like games with big worlds to explore, interesting characters, and lots of quests to complete, this collection is definitely worth checking out. It's a great way to dive into a fantasy world and become a monster hunter. First up is The Witcher. This game introduces you to Geralt, the main character. He's a witcher, which is like a monster hunter with special powers. This game has a darker and grittier feel than the others. It's more focused on the detective work involved in monster hunting. You'll be tracking creatures, learning about their weaknesses, and preparing special potions and oils before you fight them. The combat is a bit clunky compared to the later games, but it's still satisfying to take down a tough monster after carefully preparing for the fight. The story is complex and involves political intrigue and moral dilemmas. You'll have to make some tough choices that have real consequences.
How do you feel about Vizima's starving?
Next, you have The Witcher 2: Assassins of Kings. This game has a more polished and refined feel than the first one. The combat is smoother and more dynamic, and the graphics are a big improvement. The story is also more focused and personal. Geralt gets involved in a conspiracy involving kings and assassins, and he has to unravel the mystery while dealing with his own past. The world is still dark and dangerous, but it's also more visually stunning. You'll be exploring different regions, each with its own unique atmosphere and challenges. The choices you make in this game are just as important as in the first one, and they can significantly alter the course of the story.
Triss can lead us to the Kingslayer. I need to save her.
Finally, there's The Witcher 3: Wild Hunt. This game is a masterpiece. It's absolutely massive, with a huge open world to explore and hundreds of hours of content. The combat is fantastic, fluid, and challenging. You'll be using a combination of swordplay, magic, and potions to fight all sorts of incredible monsters. The story is epic and emotional, and it involves Geralt searching for his adopted daughter, while also trying to stop a powerful and ancient force known as the Wild Hunt. The characters are incredibly well developed, and you'll form strong attachments to some of them. The quests are varied and interesting, and they often have multiple solutions. It's a game that you can easily get lost in for weeks or even months. The Witcher Trilogy is an amazing value. You're essentially getting 3 complete and high-quality games for a fraction of the price of buying them separately. Each game offers a unique and compelling experience, but they all share the same rich world, complex characters, and morally ambiguous choices. It's a fantastic collection for anyone who loves open-world RPGs, monster hunting, or just a good story. It's a journey through a beautifully crafted fantasy world that you won't soon forget. It's a truly epic saga.
The good will die. What? You drunk?
Not true.